Ladies and gentlemen, we are one day removed from Impact Wrestling Crossroads. Now as I get a breath there, I gotta tell you, this was a fantastic pay-per-view / television show. I really enjoyed it. Impact Wrestling Crossroads. I'm about to get into it. Fabulous matches all over the card. But first, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button for your boy. If you like it, if you don't like it, hit that dislike button. Feel free, hit either one. And comment down below what did you think about this pay-per-view? Let me know. Comment down below. So, before I get into this story, you can find me on Twitter at o.m.g and at 2 Sweet Pod. I got a lot going on today. Got a podcast later, but I want to get into some Impact Wrestling, so let's go. First up, we had the tag team match. It was the Cult of Lee versus LAX. This one started rather quickly as LAX had an attack from behind, beat down Conley and Lee, had a brain freeze for a minute, went to a commercial break and came back on the outside. They were still beating them down, had some double teams going, but Cult of Lee eventually regained control, and that led us to a fascinating hot tag by Ortiz. He cleared the ring, had a tope through the ropes, and I think the highlight of the match was Santana had the senton over the ropes, the tope over the ropes. That was just fantastic. That guy's athleticism is slept on because of how great his character is. I gotta say, Santana really slept on. So that led us towards the end of the match. LAX was looking like they was about to take it for a minute, but Cult of Lee regained control, started to double team. Ortiz made the save. He took out Lee. Ortiz hit a cutter, and then Santana hit a swanton, which led to the street sweeper for the finish. LAX retains as your tag team champions. Look, this was a good way to kick off the show. Fantastic way to kick off the show. Curtain jerker match, just fantastic. And I enjoyed every bit of it. I was very excited. And we would move on. Next up, what do we have next up? We got the X Division title match. The title X Division Championship versus Grand Champion Taji Ishimori versus Matt Sydal. This was fantastic. Told you they had some fantastic matches all over the card. We had started with a very fast pace, which is always welcome. When I watch the X Division match, I want it hard hitting, fast paced. Don't just lollygag and get into it. Just get into it fast. I like it. Matt Sydal had Taji Ishimori in some kind of combination leg and headlock. I tell you, these wrestlers from today, man, it's just some of these guys just be pulling out some moves that I have just never seen before. But from my close to 30 years of watching wrestling, and this was one of them, combination leg lock, headlock. I don't even know if it has a name. They didn't even have a name for it on the announce team. They just kind of glossed over it. But Sydal was in control. The match picked up with a spinning back kick and from Sydal, and also Sydal did what Sanjay Dutt called a no hands Frankensteiner, to which that just warms my little 90s wrestling kid heart that somebody calls it a Frankenstein and not a Hurricane Rana. And I mean, yeah, that meant a lot to me. But moving on, Taji Ishimori got back in control, had a moonsault to the outside, and one of the highlights of the match, a running Rana from the outside, which was pretty darn good. But as the match would pick up at the end, Sydal gained control, missed the shooting star press, which would lead to Ishimori getting into a control. He missed the 450. Sydal hit the shooting star to close the match, and he would retain the Grand Championship and win the X Division Championship, this was a fantastic match. Arguably the match of the night, although that's between two matches. I'm gonna get to it later to tell y'all what was my match of the night. But this was fantastic. I enjoyed every bit of it. It never died down. The crowd was invested into the match, to which I always enjoy that. It's tough to, whether it be by the Impact miking the crowd or the crowd itself, it's tough to see the crowd get into it when they're in Orlando, but the crowd was very much into it in this match. I enjoyed it and I loved it. Next up, we have the Knockouts title match. It was Laurel Van Ness, the Hot Mess, versus Allie looking to win the World Championship, the women's title, again. Allie attacked early. This was a fantastic match. Allie had a nice German suplex. And also, I thought the highlight of the match was when it spilled to the outside. Laura Van Ness went for an unprettier to the outside, which looked like the end of the match, but it wasn't. We also had Allie with a pretty sweet clothesline off the chair from the outside. The match would end with an Allie driver. Allie would pick up the victory. This was a fantastic match as well. Impact was just rolling tonight. I gotta say, Allie was fired up. The match was good. And I got the only negative from this match is that you knew that Laurel Van Ness had been released or asked for release or whatever. And I know that we run into these situations all the time because Impact tapes in bulk. But it really hurts when the person that's leaving is a champion, because the match is great, but the result is never in question because you know the situation of them leaving. But nonetheless, I had fun watching this match. This was really good. So next up was OVE versus Lashley. It was supposed to be Eddie Edwards and Lashley, but you know the situation. Eddie Edwards took a bat to the face. I never gave my opinion on that. I have to do it sometime or another. But sticking with this match, this was the first match of the night where it kind of took a little bit of a downturn. There wasn't a whole lot going on. A whole bunch of 3-on-1 versus Lashley that took us into the commercial break. But the highlight of the match was Brian Cage. This music hits, and he comes down, and apparently he's Bobby Lashley's tag partner. Okay. And Lashley is not looking for the tag. Brian Cage just tags himself in, and Brian Cage goes on this roll. And let me tell y'all, he was going on this roll, and I just had my mouth open the whole time. Like, as many times as I've been watching Brian Cage before, I've been watching him for a little while now. His first time in Impact, Lucha Underground, and all the way up until now. And this guy just amazes me every time I tend to watch him, and I go, a guy that big shouldn't be moving like that. Cage did an enziguri, and I mean, he freaking looked like AJ Styles doing it. And this guy's amazing. But sticking with the match, Brian Cage and Lashley would pick up the victory as Brian Cage did the Steiner Screwdriver, another move that just warms my wrestling heart. Scott Steiner was all over this wrestling card, but he picked up the victory. I love that move. He makes it look every bit as vicious as Scott Steiner once did. Picked it up 1, 2, 3, and post-match, this was the story of this matchup. Lashley goes for the handshake. Cage denies his handshake, and it looks like we are on the road to a Lashley versus Brian Cage match or matches. That is going to be hard hitting. That is going to be exciting, and I cannot wait. Going to be, to my knowledge, I think that's the first time matchup to my knowledge. It's definitely the first time for me watching it, so I can't wait. It's going to be very exciting. Lastly but not leastly, we had the main event, and it was Austin Aries versus Johnny Impact. And this was a first time matchup. Just always find first time matchups pretty cool. You never know what's gonna happen. You don't know the chemistry or whatnot, but it was the first time matchup. The match started with Aries doing some Ricky Steamboat-esque arm drags to start the match. I enjoyed it. Another call back to the greats. Johnny Impact had a springboard, but Aries swept the legs, which was pretty funny. And I mean, the match picked up really well. Johnny Impact did a double springboard enziguri. I told y'all these guys be coming up with these moves to where it's just stuff that I've never seen. A double springboard enziguri. But it is what it is. The match picked up. Austin Aries had a beautiful reversal into the last chancery. And eventually Johnny Impact will get the control back to the Spanish Fly from the top. That wasn't enough. And when I said the crowd was invested into Taji Ishimori and Matt Sydal, they were really invested into this one. This had hot near pin falls left and right, which in many places to where you thought the match would be over, but it wasn't. The match would end with the Austin Aries Brain Buster. And that would be the 1, 2, 3 Austin Aries wins. It was a fantastic matchup. And like I said, you never know with these first time matchups. If I can relate it to something, Nakamura and Sami Zayn had a first time matchup at NXT. It was Nakamura's debut. And you didn't know how it's going to go. You just knew it was two really good wrestlers and they just hit it out the park. And as it pertains to Aries and Johnny Impact, they really hit it out of the park here. It was the first time matchup, and I enjoyed every bit of it. So I thought it was a fantastic main event, a fantastic way to close out the show. Gave him like close to 20 minutes. So yeah, this was a great show. I mean, they did some great things. And to close the show, El Patron was on the rampway, clapping sarcastically, might I add, for Aries, and it looks like that's where we're gonna go next. Austin Aries versus El Patron. We'll see how that turns out. But looking at this show overall, this was a lot of fun. I mean, I like the new regime, Demore and Cyrus, and I mean, they're doing some really good things. And where they have it right is that it is real simple. You just let the guys and the girls go out there and have a long match. They're gonna put on the quality of the wrestlers with the quality of the wrestlers. They're gonna put on a show, and you get enough near pinfalls, you can have a fantastic main event, fantastic matches throughout the card. And when you give the wrestlers time, they put on this type of performance for this pay-per-view / television show. It was great. I love a clean finish to end the main event as well. No interfering. It looked like El Patron would come out and interfere and do something, but he didn't. And I like that. I like the new regime and where they're going. I'm excited for this company. And that'll lead us to, we got a Twitch show tonight, Last Chancery. Yeah, that is tonight if I'm not mistaken. Let me know down in the comments. I think that's tonight. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I enjoyed the show. Let me know down in the comments, did you enjoy this review? Let me know about the pay-per-view. Did you enjoy this pay-per-view? What was your favorite moments? And also, if you're going to be watching Last Chancery tonight, I'm definitely going to be watching. If it's tonight, I'm going to go down and watch it on Twitch. Discuss Pro Wrestling has a Twitch channel. Check that out. I'm going to try to find the link and put it down below in the comments. So definitely, let me know down below. Tell me what you think.